When the train stopped, Maxim did not get up immediately. He sat staring out of the dark window where his own face was reflected, gaunt, sharp, unfamiliar. The city he was returning to was the same, but he was not. "We're here," Artem said quietly. His younger brother stood by the carriage door with the rucksack on his shoulders, as if it were a normal trip, but his fingers were trembling. Maxim noticed it. They hadn't been here for 10 years. The city greeted them with dampness, the smell of wet asphalt and something rotten, not in the air, but in their memory. Their mother had died here. Officially, it was a domestic murder. An unknown person had broken into the flat, stabbed her several times, and disappeared. The case was quickly closed. The killer was never found. Maxim was 20 at the time. Artem was only 16. They ran away. And now they're back. Because 2 weeks ago, Maxim received a letter. No signature, no return address. Just one line. "Your mother knew too much. If you want the truth, come here." The key still fit. The door creaked as if protesting their return. The flat smelled of dust and old things. Nothing had changed here for years. "It's as if she's about to come out of the kitchen," Artem whispered. Maxim was silent. He stared at the floor in the living room. This was where they found the body. His mother was lying by the table. There were no signs of a struggle. It was as if she had dropped the knife, but the knife wasn't hers. "They told us she let the killer in," said Artem, "that it was a mistake." Maxim slowly walked around the room. His gaze caught on the wall near the bookcase. "Artem, do you remember this crack? It's always been there." "No," Maxim replied quietly. "It wasn't there." He pressed on the edge of the bookcase. It moved more easily than it should have. Behind it was a narrow niche and an old metal safe. Artem held his breath. "They didn't find this, or they didn't want to find it," Maxim replied. The safe was locked, but the code turned out to be Artem's date of birth. "Why mine?" he whispered. "Because you were her insurance," Maxim said. Inside were folders, a flash drive, a notebook, and photos. The photo was of their mother, not alone. Next to her were people in business suits, dark cars, security guards. On the back were dates, and a symbol, a triangle with an eye. "Who are these people?" Artem asked. Maxim leafed through the notebook. The entries were fragmentary, like a diary, but more like a report. They used children, through charitable foundations, through medicine, through disappearances. Maxim's hands trembled. "She wasn't just a teacher," he said. "She was investigating something. Or working for someone," Artem added. And then they heard footsteps behind the door. The woman standing in the doorway was gray-haired and thin, the neighbor, the same one. "I knew you would come back, and I knew you would find this. Why didn't you say anything?" Artem asked sharply. The woman looked at them as if she had seen ghosts. "Because those who killed your mother are still here, and they are not people you can just turn in to the police." She glanced at the stairs. "Your mother came to me a week before her death. She said that if anything happened to her, they would be to blame." "Who are they?" Maxim asked. The woman swallowed hard. "A group, unofficial, influential. They decide who should disappear and who shouldn't." "And the police?" "Bought off, intimidated, or dead." Just then, the front door slammed shut downstairs. "They know you're here," whispered the woman. "Run." They didn't make it. When Maxim looked out the window, he saw a black car with no license plates, and then a shot. The neighbor fell on the stairs. Artem screamed, but Maxym covered his mouth. If you want to live, keep quiet. This was no longer an investigation. It was war. They escaped through the back door and hid in an old garage. Maxym connected a flash drive to his laptop. What they saw was worse than any nightmare. Videos, records of meetings, names, politicians, businessmen, doctors, judges, and one word repeated over and over again: Project Family. She wasn't just investigating, Artem said. She was on the inside. Maxym paused the video. On the screen was their mother. She was looking straight into the camera. If you are watching this, it means I have been killed, but you must know the truth. Maxym, Artem, you are part of this. Next was a file with medical records, their names, their DNA data. Are we adopted? Whispered Artem. No, Maxym said, reading on. We are experiments. The project was about creating children with increased adaptability, resistance to fear, pain, psychological pressure. That's why you never panic, and I always see the details, Artem said. She saved us. She stole us. And for that, she was killed. Now they were being hunted. Their photos appeared in internal databases. Their phones were being tracked. The city had become a trap. We can't run forever, Artem said. We need to break them. Once, forever. They decided to do the impossible, expose the project publicly. The journalist they trusted turned out to be a trap. They were caught. A dark room, a light shining in their faces. Your mother was an idealist, and idealists always die. What about us? Artem asked. You are a mistake, one that we are about to correct. Maxym smiled. It's too late. An explosion. The lights went out. A week later, the world learned the truth. Videos appeared everywhere. Names, documents, evidence. The family project ceased to exist. Officially. Maxym and Artem were presumed dead, but on the other side of the world, two brothers sat in a cafe. What next? Artem asked. Maxym looked at his phone screen. A new message. There are other projects, and we need people like you. He smiled. Now we're hunters. Epilogue. Sometimes the truth costs lives, and sometimes it births something much more dangerous.